Hey there guys, it's Lee here. Welcome to iMineBlocks. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you what I think is the most bullish coin and network of the near future. So there's a couple of reasons why I'm making this video. First and foremost is really just to kind of share my thoughts and ideas, thinking out loud rather than just keeping everything kind of bundled up in my head and in my notepad. And by vocalizing it and sharing it with you guys, I can kind of rationale or better understand my own thinking. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm making this video. Second is I feel like it's my responsibility to share the good, the bad and the ugly when it comes to crypto projects and various whether it's mining or tokens or all of that kind of stuff. So it's really just a case of me sharing with you my thoughts and ideas, and like I say, whether that's good or bad. And this is what I believe is a good one. So I feel like it's my responsibility to share that with you. If your project is good, I think it's my responsibility to share it with you. And also, by the way, this is an existing project. It's not a token shield or anything like that. This project has been going for a long time, but I am more bullish on this project than ever before, irrespective of the price. And the third reason is because sometimes, particularly with crypto Twitter or YouTube or the internet in general, sometimes it can be a bit of a bubble, a bit of an echo chamber. So what you find is that you kind of you either get lots of positive reinforcement or you get lots of negative reinforcement. So sometimes it's difficult to kind of look outside of that bubble and kind of understand the bigger picture. So another reason for making this video is because I really want to get you guys feedback, and also to share your critical thinking. It's easy for me to suggest and share my thoughts and ideas of why I think this is so good. But really, I want some, critical thinking, critical feedback on why you guys maybe think this is not so good. And that allows me to have a better understanding overall. But, I've tried to be very rational and logical thinker. I'm quite a logical thinker anyway. So for me to, I think I have overcome most of my own objections. So, and that's why I'm so bullish about this project. So with all that said, I know it's quite a long intro, but I really want to kind of explain my reason and rationale for why I'm even bringing this to you in the first place, rather than, just keeping it to myself. So let's continue on. Okay, so what is this thing that I am so bullish on, so optimistic about the future? It is, of course, Ethereum. Now, Ethereum has been going for a couple of years. I was involved at the original ICO. I followed the project for a very long time. And I'm actually more bullish on this project now more than ever before, which is kind of crazy to think that, it went from trading from pennies. I think at the lowest it was about 20 cents, all the way up to over $1,000. And now it's down at like 160. It's had a bit of a bumpy turn this last couple of days. But irrespective of the price, I'm more bullish on this token than ever before, which is kind of crazy. And what I'm going to share with you is all the reasons why I'm so bullish on this, why I think this got such a big potential for the future. So I'm going to go through all those reasoning and rationale with you guys, and you can, like I say, you can share your thoughts and ideas and opinions and see whether this resonates with you or whether you think it's it's ridiculous. So I'm going to go through those bits and pieces with you. So there's kind of two parts to Ethereum. There's ETH as in the coin or Ether, and there's also Ethereum, the network, the platform. So there's two big parts to this. The way I see Ethereum, and it's been reinforced more and more recently, is the platform is kind of like one of the most important aspects of it. The way I see Ethereum going forward is if you imagine the internet, imagine in the early days of the internet, everything that is being built onto the internet, and that's what kind of makes it. I feel the same way about Ethereum going forward. There is so much being built on the Ethereum network. It's absolutely crazy. There's nothing else that compares to it. I know some of you guys will think, oh, well, what about EOS and what about Neo and all these other sort of projects? There is nothing else that is being built upon like Ethereum. It is absolutely crazy. There is so much on there. And the thing is, well, it's not also just about the quantity, it's also about the quality. So I'm going to get into some of these projects that are being built on Ethereum. But, from my point of view, everything that is being built on Ethereum is highly valuable and useful in itself, and that's really important going forward. So that's the primary reasons why I'm so bullish on Ethereum. Of course, you also have Ether, which is the coin that is on Ethereum, or the Ethereum coin. Obviously, that is used for transactions. It's also used for gas. You can use it as collateral. You can use it in lots of different ways. So that is kind of the transactional element of the Ethereum network, which is also highly valued in and of itself. Going forward, there's lots of things like changing from proof of work, which is, if you compare the proof of work system currently on Ethereum now, it's way bigger than basically any other coin, with the exception of Bitcoin. So massive mining power, but that's all changing over to proof of stake. If that change over to proof of stake goes as expected, it's going to be a good thing. It's going to be a positive thing, and it's only going to help with the value of the network in the future. Okay, so getting on to the reasons why I think Ethereum is so great, why I'm so bullish on it for the future. Just have a little think to yourself, what coins do you currently use, or what networks do you currently use within the crypto ecosystem? What do you use every day or on a regular basis? Maybe even you only use it once a week, something like that. Have a little think about it. When was the last time you used one of your wallets? When was the last time you used one of your coins? I bet for a lot of you guys, you haven't really probably used your coins in any meaningful way for quite a long time. The exception, or what I've found personally, is that I use Ethereum every single day. Checking back the last couple of days. Now, it could be because I'm in this this crypto, this Ethereum bubble. But I'm finding that I'm using it pretty much every day. I'm doing lots of different things with it. I'm sending Ethereum transactions. I'm using it in lots of different ways, and I'll talk about some of these platforms in a moment. But a lot of the other coins that I'm holding, such as Bitcoin, EOS, Tezos, and a whole bunch of other coins, I've got them and I'm holding them, and I think potentially they could develop in the future given them time. But I'm not actually using them. I'm just holding them. And Ethereum's different. I'm actually using it. So the reason I'm using it is because it's useful, and that is one of the big things when it comes to Ethereum, and why I'm so bullish on it. It's like the early days of the internet. All of the websites and networks and everything that has been built, you're only going to use, or the value really comes from, what is actually useful and usable. You can have, if it's not being used, there's no value to it, basically. And with Ethereum, I'm using it every day, and it's really easy to use, and that's also crucial as well. Talk about more about that in a moment. But just think to yourself, what coins are you currently using? And if you're not using them, then they're obviously not useful to you. So maybe reconsider your options. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about a few of the platforms and networks and coins and stuff that is actually everything that's been built on to Ethereum that I'm currently using every single day, and why I think these are really cool, useful, and valuable going forward. And these, like I say, because they're all built on Ethereum, they kind of have that their value, the usefulness only increases the Ethereum network's value as a whole, and these are the reasons why I'm more and more bullish on the Ethereum network. So let's talk about a few of these different projects that are built on Ethereum. Okay, so I briefly mentioned what's built on Ethereum, what's useful, and what's good. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the MetaMask wallet. So if you haven't used the MetaMask wallet, I've got a video on it. Go and check it out. Really easy, really useful. So effectively, it is a browser plugin. So you can use it with Firefox, Chrome, even Internet Explorer, or Safari as well. So it's a browser plugin, works with your internet browser. What this allows you to do is effectively you can use your Ethereum, ETH, or your Ethereum tokens on just about any website that supports it. It's super simple. It's super easy to use. You can go to CryptoKitties, or you can go to a Compound or the Maker DAO. You unlock your wallet, you send your transaction. It's all done within the browser. It's super easy. It's really important for this going forward that things are simple and easy to use. Having a wallet browser integration, which means that you can use Ethereum on virtually any website that you visit, is super powerful and super useful. If you guys have ever tried to use Bitcoin to pay for a website transaction, you probably would have had a very difficult and painful experience, whereby you go to the website maybe it supports only BitPay wallets. you send a transaction and you're sort of looking at a QR code or something for like 10 minutes waiting for your transaction to go through. Really quite painful. And although I'm, bullish on Bitcoin too for the future, it's really more of a long-term reserve currency, not really so good for transactions. So went a little bit off track there, but MetaMask is kind of the wallet browser extension that just makes all these other platforms that I'm going to be sharing with you, it makes them so much easier to interact with. For the normal person that is not super up on technology, you literally click a button and it sends you a transaction, or you click a button, it interacts with the contract. It just makes the process so much easier. So MetaMask wallet, if you don't have that, install it and experiment with it. It's important going forward for the future, and it makes it super easy to basically get on board with the Ethereum network. Okay, so next up in my list of cool things that have been built on Ethereum and why they had value to the network. Next up is the Maker DAO. So Maker DAO has just gone through a transition, and it probably really warrants a video all in itself. But in very simple terms, Maker DAO is a governance system that is built on Ethereum. Primarily what you can do with it is a lending platform whereby you can collateralize or put your Ethereum or other tokens into the Maker DAO or the platform, and you can get out DAI, which is a stable coin. DAI stablecoin it's actually just been changed. It was backed by Ethereum only, and now it's called multi-collateral DAI. Like I say, it's a little bit complicated, but really what you need to know is that it is a stable coin and it is backed and locked and secured by the Ethereum network. There's everything that I read and understand. There is no reason why why the peg is a peg to the dollar, 1-to-1 to the dollar. There's no reason why that peg should break. But the important thing to understand that it is decentralized. The system and the supporting network and everything behind it, it's done through a governance system, the Maker DAO. Everything that is in place, that coin is basically going to be worth billions in the future. The market cap of DAI in the future is going to be worth billions. That value increases the network value of Ethereum. And like I say, it's quite complicated. But all you need to know is that DAI stablecoin is built on Ethereum, and it's going to be worth billions in the future, the market cap. That is going to only increase as we go forward. You can also earn income from it. There's lending and all sorts of other stuff. But like I say, it's quite in depth, and I don't really want to go into it too much in this video. But DAI, the stablecoin, is important. You'll understand why as we continue on. So next up is ENS domains, or Ethereum domains. This is really cool. Another great cool feature. So most of you guys are familiar with your Ethereum domains. It's normally starts 0x and it'll be like a long series of numbers. This naming or address naming system is fine if you're using computers. You can copy and paste it and stuff like that. But if you want to send your friend, or you want your friend to send to you, it's kind of complicated. The Ethereum name service allows you to link a short, catchy domain name. You can link it to your Ethereum address. You can also link it to a website. You can even link it to a Bitcoin address. There's lots of things that you can do with it. So for example, rather than me giving you a long address, Ethereum address, to send donations or tips or whatever you like, I can just say, hey guys, why don't you send it to me? You can send it to imine.eth. Very simple. Or you can send it to snappy.eth, or you can send it to tycoon.eth, or you can send it to whatever. So really short, simple domain names. It allows you to verify the address that you're sending it to. It's much easier to type a name that you recognize and send it, rather than a massive long string of characters and numbers. So ENS domains, they're super cheap. I think the cheapest ones, if you have 5 characters or more, it's about $5 per year. Again, it all runs on Ethereum smart contracts. It is governed by an entity, but the things that you can do, because it is run in a decentralized manner, you can transact with your domain names. You can buy them, you can sell them, you can send them to a friend. You can do all sorts of really cool stuff with it. So ENS domain names, another big thing that is built upon Ethereum going forward. Again, it's one of those things that kind of build and reinforce the Ethereum's value as we go forward. Next up, compound finance. So I've already done a video on this in detail. Essentially, it is a borrowing and lending platform. So what you can do is you can put your Ethereum or DAI onto the platform. It's collateralized, and then you can borrow against your collateralized position. So for example, you could put in, say, 10 Ethereum, and you could take out, it's normally, the ratio is constantly changing, but say you could put in 10 Ethereum and then take out, I'm not sure the ratio now because it's just actually dropped, but you can borrow a bit against your collateralized position. The other cool thing that you can do is you can also lend to the platform as well. So I'm quite a big fan of lending. I'm lending USDC and also DAI on the network. Roughly you get about 6% APR on those. The good thing about it is that anyone that borrows your funds, it's all collateralized. So if they don't pay the returns or the market drops, they will get liquidated and you'll get your money back. Again, it's another big decentralized platform. Compound Finance, again, you can just log in with your MetaMask wallet. And this is also one of the big things is if you're using Compound Finance or the Maker DAO and you're going to be borrowing or lending, there is no email registration. There is no sending off your passport or a driver's license for KYC or anything like that. It's just you and the network. There's no interruption to that. There's no barriers. Anyone anywhere in the world can do it. There is no regulation and stuff getting involved and interfering with what you want to do, which is transacting with other people. That's what this all comes down to. It's all about trading and transacting with other people. So yeah, Compound Finance. No registration, no KYC, you just literally from your Ethereum wallet to the platform and back again. Super cool. So next up, we have Uniswap. So Uniswap is really cool. It's very similar in usability to Shapeshift or ChangeLly. Effectively, it's a kind of like an instant market or instant swapping decentralized exchange. So I know it's quite long-winded, but effectively you can go to the Uniswap platform. You can say, I've got one ETH and I want to swap it for DAI. Or you can swap it for USDC, or you can swap it for BAT tokens or any other ERC20 token that you wish. So you literally just connect with your MetaMask wallet. You send your Ethereum and it comes back to you as DAI. The transaction is for want of a better word, it is instant and seamless. You send off your one token and you get one token back immediately in your wallet. It's backed by liquidity pools and there's lots of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but the user experience is really good. So if you've not used a Uniswap before, go and check it out. It's really cool, really simple to use. Like I say, you can just instantly swap your tokens from one to another. You can also lend on that platform as well and earn a little bit of income on it as well. Again, no registration, no KYC, no sending off your passports, no disclosing your home address and all of those other things. You literally just turn up and you can just swap. It's really cool, really simple. Okay, so next up we have Fulcrum and DYDX. Now these are two decentralized trading platforms, and again, similar to Uniswap, but a bit more of a trading platform rather than just an instant swap and exchange. These exchanges allow you to trade directly for many other tokens and assets, and it's more like a traditional exchange. Difference being, again, you don't need any registration or KYC. The other cool thing about Fulcrum and DYDX is that you can also do leverage trading. So I think you can go up to 4 times leverage when you're trading Ethereum and other tokens and assets. It's all backed by liquidity within the market itself, and it's all backed by collateral. So essentially, if a person falls too far below they're overextended themselves, they will get liquidated. So these are cool platforms, again, that have been built on Ethereum. So again, this extends, the value proposition of Ethereum itself. Decentralized trading platforms built on Ethereum. It's another pretty cool thing. Next up, we have PullTogether. So PullTogether is really interesting, and I discovered it only probably just a couple of weeks ago, and it's really cool. I really like it. Really cool concept. So PullTogether is a no-loss lottery. They don't like to call it that, but that's probably the simplest explanation from it. So you might be wondering, well, what is a no-loss lottery? How does that work? How you can have a lottery and not lose your money? And it's really cool, really simple. Again, it's governed, but it's a decentralized platform, meaning if the website goes offline, you can still interact with the contract, you can still get your money back. This is how it works. So essentially, you send your DAI to a smart contract. Smart contract takes all of the money that's pulled together in that smart contract, and it deposits it it deposits it to Compound Finance. The interest that is earned whilst it's being held at Compound Finance is basically the prize pool. So what happens is once a week, every Friday, the prize draw is run, and each person that has entered onto the PullTogether, basically it's one die, one token, one die to one ticket, and it's effectively a lottery. So the prize draw takes place, and the amount of interest in that pool is then given to one of the prize winners. So sorry, that was quite a long-winded explanation. Basically, all the interest is gathered up and someone wins that interest. At the end of the draw, you can either continue playing on with your die that's put on the PullTogether platform, or you can withdraw it. In fact, you can withdraw it at any time. So it gives you the opportunity to win that pot of interest, but at the same time, you don't lose any of your funds. So really quite cool. That's PullTogether, another really cool thing that's being built on Ethereum, and I really quite like it. Go and check that out. Again, you can just interact with it using your MetaMask wallet. Just start with one die and let it roll over week after week. Maybe you'll get lucky. So really cool. Next up is Tokensets. Tokensets is quite a bit more involved. Again, probably could really do with its own detailed video, but effectively what it allows you to do is make trades based on algorithms. So as a simple example, they've got one which is an Ethereum 20-day moving average. So what happens when you deposit your funds, it gets split 50-50 between Ethereum and DAI. Now what happens is the token sets, the network and the algorithm itself, again it's all run on smart contracts. What it does is it looks at the price of Ethereum and compares it to the 20-day moving average in this example. So the idea being is that when the market is increasing, the network automatically, or the token set automatically kind of exposes you more to Ethereum, so you can kind of get those price gains. The reverse is also true. So again, it follows the 20-day moving average. In this example, there's lots of different token sets. But for example, if the price of Ethereum is declining over that 20-day average, what it can do is the token set will automatically move you more into a DAI position. So therefore kind of stabilizing your returns through that down trend in the market. And it does all this automatically. So that's really cool. So it saves you from having to manually change your positions between DAI and Ethereum, doing that manually or yourself. It uses algorithms and smart contracts to do the whole thing for you. Again, you can put money in, take money out. Really simple and straightforward to do. So there's a lot being built on Ethereum, and as you can see, these are what they call like DeFi products or decentralized finance, and it's been sort of touted as a bit of a buzzword at the moment. Some people kind of don't like it; they think it's all just kind of like hype. I really think it's really powerful stuff. The fact that you can lend your money on a platform or borrow money on a platform without having to go through any long-winded registration is super important. The fact that you can kind of take part in lotteries and games. Gambling effectively, again without any registration and barriers. Really, it's all about like barriers and blockades. There's so much in our lives that kind of hinder us or prevent us from doing things. A lot of guys experience this in the US where they can't register for this ICO, they can't trade on this exchange, they can't do this, can't do that. And I'm really more about like openness. I do understand that there's certain restrictions and stuff that need to take place, but removing these barriers and making it much easier to interact with. And again, it's all being built on Ethereum. So just talking a little bit more about a few of the other things that are being built on Ethereum. Again, super exciting stuff. So you guys probably would have heard of the crypto kitties. That was right at the kind of the crypto bull mania, and I don't think it had a very good experience. So I'm not going to talk about crypto kitties, but it does play into some of the things that I'm talking about in the future. It really depends on kind of your interests and things that you're into. So recently I experimented, like I say, in this Ethereum bubble or echo chamber. So I thought I would give Gods Unchained a go. So Gods Unchained is a collectible trading card game. Probably the simplest or most common examples would be Magic the Gathering or Hearthstone, which is like quite popular on Twitch. I've not played either of those, but taking a look at Gods Unchained is similar to that. Basically, it's a trading card game. The difference is that all of the trading cards or the collectible ones are tradable upon the Ethereum network. So they're called non-fungible tokens. Effectively, each card is a unique digital asset in itself. Some are very common and others are more sort of rare. I think, I can't remember the exact price that one of them sold for, but one of them sold for recently. I think it's about $32,000. Really quite high money. But again, this is another sort of thing that is built upon Ethereum, and there's lots of games like it. So collectibles going forward, I think could be quite big. So games and collectibles in particular, but also, NFTs could be other things. So for example, it could be basically a receipt for a painting, or it could be a receipt against, something else, such as a property, a landmark, celebrity. You can use this, the technology, the ERC 721, that token system for non-fungible tokens and digital assets is going to be absolutely huge. And I can't sort of stress this enough. If you look at any of the games collectibles, there's been lots of other games where they have like trading systems, and I think there's one called like is it called like Entropia or something like that? I watched a video about it, and there was game trading in that, Second Life, all that kind of thing. So if you imagine those types of games, but with collectible trading assets built within it, and they are freely tradable again, but all that trade is taking place again on the Ethereum network. It's really big, powerful stuff. Really cool, and I'm very excited for the future of Ethereum. Okay guys, so let's have a bit of a wrap up, a bit of a conclusion here. I am super bullish on Ethereum. In fact, I've actually just purchased some more in the last day. The price dropped slightly, so I've picked up a bit more Ethereum. I'm super bullish on Ethereum going forward. Like I say, not so much the price is not financial advice. I don't know where the market cap and stuff is going, but I think it's positive for the future. Everything that I'm seeing built on Ethereum, it's just kind of compounding that, and that's really, it's kind of like stacking. Some people have talked about like money Legos and things like that, which is, there's all sorts of these different terms, but everything that is being built on Ethereum, which is like built up. Ethereum is the bottom, and Ether is the the transactional token for that. There is just so much being built on Ethereum right now that's good, useful stuff, and I'm using all of it to various different degrees. And I think you guys are probably using it yourself. So like I say, ask yourself that question: out of all the coins and tokens that you've got, what are you using going forward? On top of this as well, I didn't mention because I didn't want to. I've already rambled on enough already for you guys. But coming up as well, they've got various tokens. There's so many other tokens and stuff being built on Ethereum as well as all of the existing stuff. You've got like IEX, some like the BAT token, Arga, and everything else that's already been built on Ethereum as well. All of those networks, a lot of them have gone by the wayside. They're just junk tokens, but a lot of the good stuff is now being built up, and it's all sort of coming through as well. So over the next few years, I am very positive for Ethereum going forward. Like I say, this is all just my my thoughts and opinions. I'm not an expert on these matters, and to be fair, no one really is. So it's really just the best guess that we can make going forward. But I'm super bullish on Ethereum, and yeah, that's it. I'll leave it there. Please feel free to share your thoughts, your opinions in the comments. Message me. I really like to get your feedback on this, what you guys' opinions are as we go forward. So that's it there. Please make sure you like, share this video, and if you're not a subscriber, then subscribe. It'd be great to have you as part of our community. Okay guys, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.